Hello and welcome back to Natural Health with Nathan Crane. Today we're joined by a very special guest to talk all about turmeric, its benefits, its critical health information, and really what to watch out for when taking it as a supplement. So my guest today is Jonathan Hunsaker. Jonathan is the founder of Organics, an industry-leading supplement company that delivers the highest quality, cleanest organic supplements available. Jonathan started his company because of the huge demand for quality supplements at affordable prices. In addition to being the founder of Organics, Jonathan is the co-founder and the executive producer of the mega hit Truth About Cancer docuseries. He just completed his first marathon the summer of 2019 and has lost over 90 pounds in the last few years after committing to a healthier overall lifestyle, which includes organic supplements. He's a health enthusiast who's passionate about fitness and committed to delivering supplements that can really make a powerful difference in the health and the life of others. I'm really happy Jonathan's here with us. He was actually a featured speaker in our Conquering Cancer Summit series. If you saw that recently, he has a lot of wealth of information to share on supplements, what to look out for, the benefits of turmeric specifically, as we're going to talk about, and what you need to know. So there's going to be a ton of value shared in this interview and some key insights. So thanks for joining us. And Jonathan, thank you so much for being here, brother.
Nathan, thanks for having me, man. Glad to be here.
So you have your own really inspiring story about health, right? You were, it sounds like at least 90 pounds overweight. You've lost over 90 pounds. Going through a lot of your own health challenges and health struggles. A lot of my community are dealing with all kinds of health challenges and struggles as well. From cancer and diabetes to heart disease and you name it. And, these are health challenges that millions and millions of people are experiencing and dealing with every single day, much of which is, as we know, diet, environment, lifestyle, and thinking, right? That's what the most up-to-date science tells us. But it's not just as easy as change that, overnight and everything's gonna be happy and, there's no more fear, no more worry, right? I'm sure for you, your own personal journey was quite a struggle, but yet look at you. You're doing something amazing. You're giving back to society. You've taken back your health. Your own company, Organics supplements, have been a big part of it. So maybe share a little bit about that journey and what were some of the key things you learned along the way that have helped you get to where you are now?
Absolutely. So started, I guess, the beginning of 2014. So that's when I first got involved and co-founded the Truth About Cancer. At that time, I was living down in Panama, Central America. I was 270 pounds. I was smoking a pack to 2 packs a day, depending on the day. I was probably drinking 6 nights out of the week. I mean, every night was Friday night down there. I was really not living a healthy lifestyle. And right about the time of starting that project, I also found out that my girlfriend was pregnant with my oldest daughter. So a lot of things kind of started aligning at the same time. One, I don't want to be a hypocrite, right? I don't want to be out here producing, executive producer of this docuseries that's going to change a lot of lives. We're interviewing doctors. Meanwhile, I'm behind the scenes, eating crappy food, smoking cigarettes, drinking, doing all of that stuff. So that's motivation number one. Motivation number two is I've got a daughter that's going to be here soon, and I didn't want to be a fat dad. And it's, one that sat on the couch and couldn't get up and play. I didn't want to be, and I can use the word fat because I was, by the way. So no fat shaming. I just was very fat, and I didn't want to be a fat dad anymore. And I didn't want to set a bad example by being a smoker. I didn't like that self-reflection of myself. So it all started. For me, when I talk about my health journey, when I talk about what I think people should do, it's interesting. A lot of people always say, kind of start with the smallest thing and fix that. I actually think start with the biggest thing and fix that. So my biggest thing was quitting smoking. In order to quit smoking, I had to quit my drinking as well, because that was a trigger for me that made me smoke. So, well, didn't make me, but contributed to the smoking and to poor decisions. So once I really attempted that numerous times and ultimately quit cold turkey, after that had kind of set in for a few weeks, month and a half, then I could start taking on some other stuff. Well, now I can breathe a little bit better. Let me start some walking, right? Let me start eating better. Let me start doing, more exercises, more things. So I think what the challenge is, there's two challenges when people are looking to kind of make that pivot in their health. Is one, you've got to find the why, right? What's your reason for doing it? For me, again, I don't want to be a hypocrite with the business venture I was going down. I didn't want to be a bad example for my daughter that was going to be born in October. So those were my big motivators. And then the third one was, I wanted to do it for me too. The unfortunate thing was, prior to that, doing it for me wasn't always enough. It wasn't enough to stay committed. So I had to find those other things so that in my times of weakness, so in those times of inner conflict, do I do this or do I do that? It made it a little bit easier to make that choice, to choose the healthier route. And then the next thing is I think many people try to do it all at once. And that's just a recipe for disaster, right? I'm going to quit smoking. I'm going to run 2 miles every day. I'm only going to eat organic food, right? And I'm going to train every night, and I'm going to get 8 hours of sleep. And, and we start doing all these things, and it's wonderful for that first week and a half, right? The dopamine hit, we feel like Rocky, right? Where we're doing everything we want to be doing. But then week 2 hits, and now your body's drained. You're no longer running off of these endorphins, the excitement, the willpower, all of that. Now you're put up against the wall to decide, and that one little compromise ends up compromising everything else. So if your choice is to change that biggest thing, like for me, it was smoking. For somebody, it might be to exercise. It might be your diet, whatever it is. If you fall off the wagon, you're not falling off the wagon in every area of your life, right? Like you are if you try to take everything on at once. You're just kind of falling off that one wagon, and it's very easy just to start back up again the next day. So if I were to have smoked a cigarette after my commitment to quit, then I can just recapture myself and start again the next day or the next hour or whatever it is, and not feel like a total POS for ruining everything.
Yeah, it's so huge, man. It's finding your why. And you had 3 big whys. It's like the more whys you can have, the more reasons you can have for pulling you towards that change that you're seeking. I work with a lot of cancer patients around the world, right? And many of them have a big why. Maybe they don't want to die, right? They've been told they have a prognosis of 3 months or 6 months or a year, and it's realizing I still have more life left. I want to live, right? That's the biggest why any person dealing with a chronic health challenge and faced with a prognosis of death can really pull you forward, is saying having a reason to live, right? For you, as your child, was, even for yourself, finding that sense of wanting to do it for yourself as well, right? And then not being a hypocrite. I mean, these are all huge reasons, and the bigger the reason can be, the more magnetism it has to pull you forward towards that, versus like when I started working out years ago, I'd go to the gym for a few weeks at a time, and then I'd stop. I'd go for a couple months at a time, then I'd stop for a few months, and off and on and off and on. I had this yo-yo exercise kind of thing because I didn't have a real reason why yet. My only reason then was, I want to look good, right? And for me, that's never been enough of a motivation. For others, that gets them to the gym 5, 6, 7 days a week, and they love how they look in the mirror, and it'll keep them motivated and it keeps them healthy. For most of us and most people I know and work with, it's not a big enough motivator. So you have to find that big motivator to pull you through those challenging times, as you said, and one at a time. And most people tuning in here have already started making changes, right? They've already started, whether it's meditating, or it's medicinal movement, or exercising, or it's changing their diet. But there's always that next one, right? So what's that next one for each of you tuning in? That's the big one. And discovering what that is, and then reaffirming why you're doing these things, right? Why you want to live, why you want to be here on the earth, how you can contribute to others. Is it for your grandchildren, or maybe even you want to see your great grandchildren born and be around for them, right? Maybe it's for contributing to your local church or community or whatever it might be. It may be being around just to enjoy life without pain and sickness and sadness, experiencing the joys and happiness and vitality of life again, because that's available to everybody tuning in here. So, I think you're such a huge example, Jonathan, of finding your whys, picking the biggest things to change, and then working on it over time and continuing to improve. You're still continuing to improve and work on things now, right?
Yeah, I mean, so we're 6, 7 years now. It's not like I lost the weight in 6 months, right? This was a long journey, even up to, because life happens, right? So I say I've lost 90 pounds. I probably lost 180 pounds if you include the times when life threw a curveball at me and I stress ate, I did whatever, right? And then I lost that again, right? And then COVID hits and everybody's locked inside and you're stressing about that. And we all stress ate. And now we're losing that again, right? So there's been a lot more loss during the ups and downs. And consider that it's not the fastest path is not the most sustainable path, right? So yes, I know that you can do a crash diet, you can do a juice cleanse. I did them all, right? I did the 30-day juice only cleanse. I did keto, did all of that stuff. And some of it, did help. It did help mentally, like, wow, I just lost 15 pounds. Then you realize, well, 10 of that was water, but that's all right. At least I saw the scale move, right? As long as you continue to go back and continue to make those improvements. And one thing I will say that helped me a lot, at least break my addiction to smoking, break my addiction to alcohol, even the addiction to food, is reading and learning and studying about it on a daily basis. I remember, and don't quote me on the website, but I think it was quitsmoking.com. Looked like it was built in 1993, right? But I could go there and read testimonials of other people that had quit smoking. And just staying present, right? So if it's an eating challenge that you have, if it's a moving your body challenge that you have, if it's, you have to start doing something to heal, go read about it every day and learn about it and become an expert on it. I can talk to you way more about nutrition, about, physical fitness, running, how to run, all of that kind of stuff, simply from doing it and then learning and staying educated so that it would help keep me motivated. But just know it's not, weight loss, health, all of that is not like this perfect trend down, right? We have bumps in the road. We have family members, we have loved ones that pass away or leave our life for whatever reason. We have to move, we lose a job. Like there's all these times that things come up, and it's okay to slip. It's gonna happen. You're not expected to be a perfect robot all the time. But just know that the more habits that you build, because you've been going the longer, slower route, the easier it is to get back. Whereas if you do the fast route and something slips, you go right back to how it used to be. So it's all just building that foundation, in my opinion. That's why I tackled the biggest thing first and only one thing. Because once you've tackled that, you know that you can do anything else, because that was the biggest thing holding you back.
Yeah, that's huge. And just staying engaged, surrounding yourself with common people, and continuing the education process. I mean, it's so important what you just said. And along the way, you've obviously, as you've continued to learn and grow and evolve, as many people here tuning in have discovered supplements and the power of supplements and the benefits of supplements for helping the body do what it was designed to do, which is heal itself, right? And so, but there's a lot of things I've realized over the years that most people don't know about supplements and the supplement industry, that actually is kind of disturbing when you look at it. So maybe you can share. I know you've discovered a lot of this, being, the owner of a supplement company. What are some of those things people need to be concerned about when choosing supplements? Because, there's thousands of choices now, right?
Absolutely. So let me give a little context too about organics, how it was started, all of that, so we can kind of paint the bigger picture. So I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a researcher, I'm none of those things. What I am is a very good entrepreneur. I'm very good at business. That, I was brought in with the Truth About Cancer and starting that company to help spread the word about natural alternative treatments around cancer and just what the other options were that many people did not hear about. That's what I'm really good at. Right. And so supplements, when it's like, hey, let's own a supplement company, it wasn't, I'm going to go out here and just create a bunch of stuff that I think is good. It was built on the back end of the Truth About Cancer. We had tons of people asking what supplements to take, how to heal their bodies, all of that. At the same time, I'm on my journey, right? It's early 2016. I'm still on my journey. I want good supplements. I want these things to take. And so it all started as Epigenetic Labs. That was the initial name of the company. We since transitioned to organics, felt like it was a more powerful name. But these are not supplements that I went and got down with pen and paper and did research and said, this is what they need to be. That's not what I'm good at. What I'm good at is finding people that are a whole lot smarter than me in the areas of their expertise. So we hired the best formulators. We hired the best scientists. We started talking about, hey, if we want something that really helps with inflammation, what do we need to put in here? How do we make the most synergistic blend? Which is what we've done. We've done that with our turmeric, our 7M, our mushroom, collagens, whatever it is. I brought in the smartest people to come and put the best things together. So I say all that to say too, like, this isn't a sales pitch for you to buy organics. I've been very successful in other business ventures and other ventures that I'm currently on. This is more of a passion thing for me because it's changed my life and I've become healthier and I just want to inspire others. So this isn't a sales pitch to come buy organics. If you're inspired and intrigued, check it out, great. What's more important to me is to educate people on the supplement industry and what's going on out there. Because as we started going down that rabbit hole and I'm looking for things to take and we're learning more and more and we're connected with all these top doctors, you realize that 95% of the stuff out there, maybe even a higher number, it's really just garbage, the supplements that are out there. And so what I don't want to do is what everybody else does, which is spend all their time, energy, money, resources on marketing and promoting their supplements when they should spend all that time, money, energy, and resources on finding the best ingredients, organic ingredients, fermented, sprouted, synergistically blending them, right? If you spend all your money there, there's not much left to spend on the marketing, right? But you're left with the most amazing product out there. So what I'd like to do and what I prefer to do is not talk as much about organics and just talk about what to look for out there in the industry, how to know if you're getting good products or if you're not getting good products, what kind of things to look for. First and foremost, really understand that most of like the one-a-days that are out there, your Centrum Silvers, the A to Zinc, the commercials that you're seeing for these one-a-days, they're synthetic supplements. They're synthetic vitamins and minerals. They're extracting these vitamins and minerals usually from oil byproducts. So sludge, things that they're, drilling out of the ground, and then they can extract these synthetic vitamins and minerals that under a microscope looks like, right, the different vitamins and minerals, but your body doesn't even recognize it as a food source because it doesn't have all the other things to go with it. It doesn't have all the enzymes. It doesn't have, all the other nutrients that you would find in a plant-based extraction of that supplement. Or of that vitamin mineral, sorry. So they're useless. They're passing right through your body. They're coming right out, the other end, and it's a waste of money. So first understand that your supplements have to be whole food supplements in order for your body to even recognize them. The synthetic ones, the ones made in the lab, yes, they want to sell you that under a microscope. It has the same molecular structure, but your body doesn't recognize it because it doesn't have all the supporting nutrients to go with it and enzymes and things to process it. So whole food is first and foremost. The second one, in my opinion, if you want to go higher up from a whole food supplement, is organic. Listen, if it's organic, it's been sprayed with a whole lot less pesticides, herbicides, insecticides. And when you are processing that plant, making that supplement, you're taking a high concentration of it. And if it's been sprayed with pesticides, herbicides, and insecticides, then you're also getting high concentrations of those as well. The other thing is what it's doing to the soil. So when you have a crop that's been grown with all of these different poisons on it, it's not, just hey, let's protect the plant from bugs eating it, but it's killing all the bugs in the soil. It's killing everything. It's killing all the life other than that one thing that you're growing right there. And so the soil gets depleted from all of the nutrients that are in it. So I can grow turmeric next to each other, but this field has not been sprayed with all the poisons, right? This one still has the grub worms and the bugs and the ants and all of that, and all the decomposing matter that's going back into the soil. This one doesn't. This turmeric is going to be better. It's going to be healthier. It's going to be more nutrient dense because the soil quality is different. So I prefer organic for that reason. I feel like it's cleaner. I'm not getting concentrations of the poison, but I'm also getting more nutrient dense, more nutrients out of the plants, the roots, botanicals, whatever it is there that I'm extracting from. let's see, on top of that, if you want to go another level up from just organic, is looking for fermented or sprouted ingredients in your supplement. So when you ferment it, you're starting that breakdown process already. The enzymes are released and it's starting to break it down. When those enzymes are released and it starts to break it down, it's much easier for your body to then break it down once you ingest it. So for instance, we ferment our turmeric, right? So that it's a lot more bioavailable. Your body can recognize it, can use it more. You don't need additives like bioperine or pepperine or black pepper that increases the absorption, but it has all these other side effects that go with it. By fermenting the turmeric, it makes it more bioavailable for your body. Your body can recognize it. It can break it down and use more of it. So without that fermentation process, you might absorb 1%, right, of the curcumin in there. Whereas with the fermentation, it might go up to 20, 30, 40, 50, 60+%, depending on your body and how your body processes it. The other thing is sprouting ingredients. So you can have a regular seed, but then you can sprout it and it releases so many more nutrients than just what the seed is holding in and of itself.
Right.
So these are all different ways that the ingredient itself matters, right? If I hold up 2 bottles of turmeric because I want to fight inflammation, if this one is organic, triple fermented, right? And this one is not, right? They're not the same turmeric. This one might be $30 on Amazon. This one might be 40. You're probably getting 10 times the nutrients in the $40 one, right? And this $30 one, you're getting absolutely no benefit, in my opinion. And likely it's been sourced out of China, and then there's no regulations there. So there's the rabbit hole goes really deep here. So the best way that I can say is read the ingredients, not just read the ingredients, but understand the company that you're buying from. What are their core values? What do they stand for? Are they, let me be the cheapest person on Amazon product? Because if they are, you're getting what you pay for. A $30 turmeric product, I can go to some other manufacturers and get it made for between $2 and $3 a bottle. That's not just the product. That's encapsulated in the bottle with a label on it. So in that $30 bottle of turmeric, it's probably costing 50 to 75 cents worth of turmeric, and you're spending $30 for it. As opposed to one that might be $40 or $50 if it's organic, if it's fermented. There may be other ingredients in there with it that work synergistically that make it more bioavailable, right? Something like that, for us at least, right, costs me $10.50 to $11, just under $11 per bottle, and it still sells for $50. So the difference here is this markup is 10 to 12x. This one is 4x because we have to stay in business somehow. But the amount of nutrients that you're getting, the difference between the two is night and day. You'd be better off taking the more expensive supplement every other day or at a half dose every day than taking the cheap one every single day. And ultimately, in the end, the money ends up being the same. For round numbers that say this one's 30 and this one's 60, if I take a half dose of this or this one every other day, I get the same distance, the same month or 2 months use out of the $30 bottle one, except I'm still getting more nutrients from it. So talking in circles, because there's a lot of stuff that goes through my head and all the different things that we've learned, how to find the cleanest, best ingredients or best products. You've got to look at the label, and then you've got to study the company that it's coming from. There's no other way to do it. If you just listen to the marketing, you just read the sales letter, the pitch, the doctor that was hired to shoot the video for it, right? You see all those out there. There's some doctor, now it's a video, and you watch it for 45 minutes. And, you know, at the end, like you feel like they told you that you're dying, right? And the only way you're going to live is by this supplement, right? I can tell you that all of that money was spent on that video and that doctor and not on that product, right? So
it's so true. And it's so sad to see. Yeah,
it's disgusting. It really is. I'm very fortunate. I'm fortunate to be in I'm not in a financial position to retire, but I'm not in a financial position to where I need organics to make me a whole bunch of money. So that's a good thing because I can just be focused on really high quality products that I want to take, that my whole family takes. My daughters, when, I open up the capsules, I put them into their smoothies, right? Like, this is for my family, this is for us. And then it's also for all the people that really need something that's going to help make a difference, as opposed to just a sales pitch to make money so I can drive a Lamborghini or something.
Well, I love that, you bring this wealth of knowledge and care and passion and compassion for helping educate people, around the pitfalls and dangers of certain supplements and what to look out for. I think that's why it's really valuable having you here, sharing this and speaking on behalf of supplements, around the world. Hopefully, other companies eventually will follow suit, and they will when it comes through consumer demand, right? As you said, as we are reading labels and we're choosing products that are certified organic, that are fermented, that are higher quality, that are grown, locally or regionally, or not shipped from places like China that don't have as much regulation, that are grown with all kinds of chemicals and pesticides, right? When we choose those, we pay a few dollars more, but get potentially 5 or 10 times more impact and effect and benefit. We tell the industry this is what we want, and more options become available at more affordable prices over time, right? But we have to choose that individually ourselves. And so, I'm glad that you're a great spokesperson for this. For those, we've been talking about turmeric a lot, right? Because there are so many. It's a plant constituent, the curcumin, right? It's so well studied. Anybody here can go to PubMed and type in curcumin, anti-inflammatory, curcumin, microbial, curcumin, antioxidant, curcumin, anti-cancer, right? There's so many studies on just that one constituent in turmeric, for example, that is really well documented about its incredible potential to help activate these healing responses within the body. So, it's one of the things that I love about your company as well, Organics. I take your turmeric product, right? You have a turmeric 3D, I believe it's called, and it's one of the products that I take because I do this research, and my community knows. What I do is I go out, I research heavily, I read the scientific literature, I go out and interview the top experts and doctors and scientists on the planet. I interview the people who've reversed chronic diseases like cancer, and then I experiment with these things on myself, right, before I recommend them to anybody else. And I actually started taking your products probably over a year ago, or maybe even 2 years ago now, because they embody all these things you talked about, right? Organic, high quality, fermentation, not shipped from China, right? And I know you put the emphasis on quality and integrity into the product, and so I know that when I recommend these to my community, that they're getting the best products out there. So I just wanted to mention that because I think it's an important thing that people, if you're choosing supplements, this is hard-earned money. People are spending on their health and their well-being, and I don't want any of you to spend it on things that aren't going to work for you, right? Because it's $10 cheaper or $20 cheaper, but then you're loading up on 10 times more and you're getting 10 times less benefit. That doesn't do service to anybody. It doesn't do anybody any good, right? So, from there, you talked a lot about what to look for, growing practices, company practices, all of those things. Is there anything else that people really need to know about turmeric itself, or what they should look out for when choosing a turmeric product? I mean, you really covered a lot already.
Absolutely. So let's talk about turmeric specifically, right? Because there's a lot of turmeric supplements out there. How do you know which one to take? And I appreciate, by the way, the feedback and that you use ours. And again, I'm not here to pitch that. I just want to educate you so when anybody goes out there shopping, they know what they're looking for. So turmeric. There's a big difference between, like I said, that $30 bottle and that $50 bottle, where it's sourced from. What you're going to find with a lot of turmeric products on the market, a lot of them will have black pepper in it, pepperine, or bioperine, which is a patented extract of black pepper. And they say, hey, this is going to increase the absorption by 1,000%, 2,000%, whatever the marketing claim is. And it does. It does increase that absorption. The things to look out for, though, to be careful of it, and why we don't use it in ours, is it increases the absorption of a lot of things. So if you are taking any kind of pharmaceutical medication, be careful not to take it around the same time as this, because it'll increase the absorption of that pharmaceutical, which could change your dose. It could change your side effects. It could do all of that. Also, the long term, exposure to black pepper, extracts, things like that can be harmful to the gut for some people. Not everybody, but there are people that have more sensitive guts and leaky gut and things like that. And I don't want to contribute to that. So I'm not saying not to get those ones, but understand the risks that come with it. For us, we fermented the turmeric, and we actually fermented 3 different ways to get the same bioavailability. Bioavailability, just your body recognizing it, being able to use it, being able to extract the nutrients out of it. So as far as the turmeric product goes, I mean, that's one of the things to look for. The other thing to look for is, and I want to talk about for a second, is more on the quality of the ingredients. So most of us are taking turmeric for inflammation, healthy inflammation response. And I've got to make sure that I'm not making any kind of claims here as I talk about it as a supplement owner. But as we created Turmeric 3D to help people maintain a healthy inflammation level in their body, it was more than, hey, let's just take some turmeric. What are other contributing factors to the inflammation in your body? What are some of the other things that can help with that? So inside of Turmeric 3D, we also put ashwagandha in there. Ashwagandha is an adaptogen, really helps your body manage stress. Stress, I believe, is the #1 cause of chronic inflammation, right? That most of us are suffering from. And inflammation it's a healthy response to something that was stressed, right? That's what our body does. You overstress your ankle. In other words, you sprained your ankle and now it gets inflamed. It adds a lot of liquids there. It's there to squeeze it, to tighten it, to heal it. The problem, and that's good, but the problem is when we're stressed all the time, that our body is constantly having that inflammation response, and our whole body is holding more water, holding more inflammation, and where it's like wood sitting in, constantly staying wet and rotting, right? It's like too much moisture constantly causing mold, things like that. That's what's happening in our body that I think is a core contributor to a lot of other diseases out there, is that chronic inflammation. So yes, turmeric can help reduce that, but if the #1 cause of inflammation in our bodies or chronic inflammation is stress, then we need to address the stress levels as well. Ashwagandha is great on that. I can go down a whole nother rabbit hole, right? There's all these studies on ashwagandha, but you can't just go buy some ashwagandha and be like, hey, I'm going to get the results that these studies got, because the studies likely used a clean, organic, better strain ashwagandha than you're going to find for sale on Amazon or that other website that's claiming all these same claims because it was an ashwagandha that was used in a study. So what we use KSM 66. It's an organic ashwagandha that's patented, and it has the most studies behind it to prove the results that you'll get. So if you're going to take an ashwagandha, take KSM 66 or make sure it has KSM 66 in it, or something similar, right? I'm not aware of another one that is as strong as KSM 66, or we would probably use it. But I say all that to say, like, there's all these studies out here on an ingredient. Consider that just because that ingredient is in a cheap product doesn't mean you're going to get the results that this study shows, right? And obviously everybody's different, so you're not going to get the same results. But these different quality levels of the ingredient are also going to affect the difference. And often the studies are done on a higher quality ingredient than the cheap stuff that's straight out of China. Other things just really to talk about when it comes to stress, comes to inflammation. We put vitamin D3 into our Turmeric 3D. That's where the 3D comes from. It's because vitamin D has been shown to help decrease stress levels, to increase your mood and your happiness. And most of us aren't getting enough vitamin D anyway, because we're not getting outside enough and in the sunshine enough. And so for me, when we were looking at developing something that helped fight inflammation or chronic inflammation, we wanted to cover the full spectrum, do turmeric, have ashwagandha, vitamin D3 in there. We also have organic ginger in there, which is a very close relative to turmeric and just helps the bioavailability of the turmeric. We also put organic prolactin in there, which has studies around it that helps with pain and arthritis and swelling and things like that. So for us, when it comes time to create a supplement, we're trying to get a full spectrum that help with that one issue. And that's another way to save money. So if you go out there and you buy the cheapest turmeric, the cheapest ashwagandha, the cheapest vitamin D3, the cheapest of everything that's in here, you're going to still be 3 or 4x what's all in one product. I'm not saying that you need to come by mine, but look for others that have that blend approach, that synergistic approach, so that you're not having to buy and swallow 80 pills every morning or 3 times a day. You can just take 2 and you're getting enough of all of these other ones to get the effects that you're looking for. So I think you were asking a simple question and I rambled, but hopefully that gives your audience some more education on the supplement industry and what to look for, especially when it comes to turmeric or inflammation.
Absolutely. No, I'm glad you shared that because it's important, and the benefits of these different plant constituents and these different herbs and roots and so forth. They're so well studied, and then putting them together, you're just getting that synergistic benefit. So, I want to let everybody know, for tuning in, Organics has put together a special discount for our community here. So there's a link, should be a link below this video. You're going to get a great discount. I do encourage you, whatever supplements you're taking or choose to take, look for these qualities that Jonathan has been sharing, right? And if you want to just go straight to the source and go to a company that has all of these qualities, then click that link and get Organics Turmeric 3D, because it has everything that we've been talking about here. And again, as Jonathan said, it's not a sales pitch. This is something that I believe in. Obviously, Jonathan believes in, as well as so many people around the world who take these supplements because of the quality, of the organic factor, of the synergistic approach, because of the fermentation. And, we know it works. We know it's powerful and effective and very high quality. So I do encourage all of you to try it out for yourself if you feel compelled to. There's a great discount on this page, so click that link and you can try it out now. Anything else, Jonathan, before we wrap up? I think this has been really valuable for people. I want to just go back to one thing you said early on and recap this. When I tell people what you said earlier, that, so many of the supplements that people take nowadays are synthetic and they don't even know it. A lot of them come from oil byproducts and other, byproducts, and they're called vitamins and minerals. And, they basically just pass right through the body. People are blown. People think it's conspiracy when I tell them. They don't believe it. They're like, what? How's that even possible? What are you talking about? I'm like, yeah, look, I show them some research. They show up. They're like, what? Are you kidding me? They literally think it's like conspiracy when I tell them that, but it's so true. I can't remember the percentage. You probably know better than I, but I found a study that it was either 40% or 60% or somewhere in there of people today take synthetic supplements. And I would venture to bet 99% of them don't realize that they're, oil byproducts and synthetic and not actually coming from real plants. That's crazy.
It's disturbing, right? Another thing that disturbs me too is you look at like kids cereal, right? And it's like fortified with 23 vitamins and minerals. It's just fortified with synthetics, right? That your body can't absorb. So now they're trying to make this sugary dessert that's now served as breakfast look healthy for you. And it's all the marketing, right? And it's the same thing you said, like 99% of the people taking synthetics, if they knew they were synthetic and do nothing, obviously they wouldn't take them.
Right.
And that's really what it is. It's just people just aren't aware. And so we have to do our best to try to educate as many people. So if you take supplements, if you take whole food supplements, tell your friends, tell your neighbors. If you see them putting that poison in their mouth, thinking it's making them healthy, grab it and throw it in the trash, and educate them, because it's really disturbing. All of these things that are being sold to people as healthy that really aren't.
Yeah. So I'd say, that's probably the biggest takeaway for people tuning in today, right? Read the label, read the ingredients, make sure that it has the whole food plant name on it, and all the other things that we talked about as well. But that's huge, right? If it doesn't have it, then that plant's not actually in there, right? So that's, again, one of the things I love about what you do with Organics. That's why I recommend your products to everybody. Again, there's a link on this page. Go check that out if you're interested. Other than that, Jonathan, thank you so much for taking the time, for sharing this great, wealth of knowledge with our community. I really appreciate it. And, this has been great and powerful. We always love hearing from people as well. Comments, thoughts, feedback, things like that. You can always reply to our emails and let us know what you think about this. But other than that, yeah, Jonathan, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Nathan. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Everybody take care. We'll talk to you soon.